Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salvesen. We are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier and safer.
Let's take a minute to hear about today's sponsors.
Hey, have you heard about the Decon Field Guide?
Oh, yeah. The First Line Technologies, the DFG, has everything that I'm looking for in the field of emerging threats.
Yeah, the DFG has a brand new look with updated time-saving resources such as instructional videos, guidance documents, dwell timings, FAQs, even a ton more than that.
You're preaching to the choir, man. I've already been using the guide documents and the instructional videos on a bunch of classes that we're teaching throughout the country.
Yeah, so simply download the Decon Field Guide app to your smartphone or tablet to access the full threat library, step-by-step instructions, and instructional videos. Download the Decon Field Guide app today. You can find it on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Let's get to the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hazmat Guys. This is episode 246. I'm Bobby Salvesen. I'm here with Michael.
Hey, we're 246. We are 4 away from 250,000. That's a huge number.
That is a lot. You know what? I was looking at an article. They said that the I don't remember what the percentage was. It was like 75% of all podcasts stop within the first 7.
Wow.
And only like 10% make it past 100.
So what? It's like us and Joe Rogan?
Yeah, pretty much. I think we're in the long of tooth. We have to be overthrown. We have to be. I cannot believe
Please,
this.
somebody come overthrow us.
Come on. We're really scraping the bottom now.
I can't think of anything anymore.
Dude, we still have that whole document.
I know.
Touched.
I keep saying that. I'm like, man, this is going to run, like, since the very beginning, I've been like, we're going to run out of crap to talk about. And every week, it's like, boom, we got shit to talk about.
We got stuff to talk about. And I swear to God, we have a document in our shared drive that has at least 150 things on it. I was looking at it maybe 2 weeks ago, and of the 150, maybe we did 6?
Yeah.
7?
Yeah.
Maybe? So we got a ton of stuff we haven't even done yet.
And then if you look back, a lot of the stuff that we've done was real, I don't want to say basic, but it was like introductory level stuff. Like we could go much deeper into almost every podcast that we put out.
Right. We could revisit and really jack it up a little bit more. So more to come on that.
Yeah. So where are we going to be?
We're not going to be anywhere.
Oh.
No, I think Cold Zone. I think that's still the only guys that are out there. Cold Zone in October, I believe.
Listen, man, I'm rooting for them, but I'm not buying a ticket. I'm not buying a plane ticket.
But the university, we have 2 new courses as of between this episode and last episode. We have Bob Kosh put out a brand new one. You got to check that one out. Bob Kosh BC003. That is a case study. Pretty cool. I like that one. We also have, I think I might have mentioned this, the new foam one from Mr. Frank Payton.
Last episode we were waiting on it. Did it
officially
come through? All done.
It's officially done. It's officially selling. It is going like hotcakes. I would honestly, it's not like it goes away. But definitely go and check it out. This is a 4-hour course. The basic health, the whole foam module 1. It's like the basics, and he's building 4 more in addition to that, going to like medium, then advanced, and then like incident command considerations and that kind of stuff. It's gonna be sick.
If you've ever had, if your department, this is the course to start to be like, hey guys, how can we start to get our department to put us into these courses? Yeah, I get it. Listen, I'm a firefighter too, right? Like I don't want to spend money on a course, but I'm more than happy to take whatever course my department is willing to give me. This is the time. This is the time to start. Grant funding is going to be coming up. We got a whole new fiscal year in the works. This is the time to start bringing up to your department. Hey, how do we get some of these online trainings? How does this get paid for? Get us into these classes.
Yeah. So, a lot of stuff going on. Go check it out. But what is the crux of today, Mike?
It's listener Q&A. We get a fair amount of these emails. Basically, people that are either confused in general, because we don't take the cream of the crop anymore. No, I'm just kidding. They hear stuff, they don't fully get stuff, something doesn't make sense. So we get a lot of these emails, and we just assume that it's kind of, maybe we didn't explain it good enough the first time, or perhaps we never even touched it at all, and they're walking out of a class just kind of dazed and confused. So we try to take the questions that we get via email, or Facebook or Instagram, although I don't think we've ever gotten a question on Instagram.
No.
I don't think I've ever looked at Instagram.
It's the kids.
Yeah, I do the TikTok, right? We do Hazmat TikTok. We should start doing that. Oh, my God. All right, totally
Never
different
mind.
subject. I'm going to start dancing in level A to music. Be like, yeah, baby.
Hot.
So, yeah, we've got 4 questions. The last one is kind of a natural gas metering question. So we can definitely dive into the nuance of that. But the first question that has come up quite a few times, we've actually gotten about 4 or 5 of these within the past 6 months, is what is the difference between FTIR and Raman? They both absorb, and they both have similar graphs, but they're doing different things.
Okay.
So that's kind
So-
that's
Both of them are spectroscopies,
right.
right? So FTIR, and I always say this wrong. I always want to say Fourier transform, but it's not. No, Fourier Terrier. I don't know why. It's stuck in my head. I always say Fourier Terrier, and then people look at me like, what?
Like a dog,
I'm
like a
jerk.
West Highland Terrier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always say Fourier Terrier, but it's not. It's Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy.
Right.
That's the actual name, right? And then you got Raman spectroscopy, right? Now they look the same. Well,
They do
they
actually
kind of look the same.
like they if you look at the graph, if you showed me a graph of a Raman and a graph of a FTIR, I don't think I would really notice the difference at first. I'd be like, all right, yeah, we got 2 graphs.
No, I know people that would be able to tell it, like in a dark room underwater kind of thing.
Yes.
But I'm not that guy.
No, me either. I got to be like, what machine did you get that from? Oh,
Right.
okay. That's FTIR.
Right. All right, so the FTIR is the one. I know I'm speak very crassly about this thing, but that's the one where you put the sample on the piece of glass and you smash it down with
Yes.
the anvil, right? So that's the FTIR, and then you got the Raman, which in most form factors of whatever iteration of meter you have has like a wand that comes off with like an eyeball on the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Laser comes out of a very specific point, and you can put it up to a sample, or with Raman the container.
Yeah, or you can drop a small sample inside the little hood. That's on it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Yeah,
that's the 2 ways I've seen it.
There's like multiple ways to sample with the Raman. There's really only one way to sample with the FTIR.
Now, one difference I will throw out there is that the Raman is more of a, and I'm saying this, I know I'm saying this wrong, is more of a bulk reader, and the FTIR is more of a trace reader. Is it truly either one? No. What I'm saying is the FTIR requires a lot less material than the Raman does.
Right.
I mean, it takes almost nothing on the FTIR.
And the even though they both throw out the spectroscopy, and even though they're both using lasers, they're almost like inverted in how they actually operate.
Yes.
Right.
And that's the beauty of them.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing that you can take almost like it's literally the opposite.
Yeah.
Even though everything else seems the same, it functions literally the opposite, right? Your FTIR is taking a whole bunch, and I'm going to say this to not because it's technically correct, all right? But if we think of like all the different spectrums of light, right? Everything from that Roy B. Jiv, right? That red, blue, orange, all those different colors are different wavelengths. So if from this point forward, even though it doesn't use visible light, I'm going to say color so that we can kind of understand a little bit better what's going on when we're comparing these two.
Right.
So in the FTIR throws out a whole bunch of different colors, right? It throws out like a rainbow of colors. And within that rainbow of different colors, some colors get absorbed and some colors get reflected back. and the machine is actually measuring what doesn't come back and the amount of it that doesn't come back. And I know that sounds weird, right? Because I guess that would be the inverse of what comes back, but it's literally like that's what it's looking for, right? If it shoots
Right.
out red,
1,000 units of red and
Right.
only gets back 700, it's like, whoa, there was a 300 unit drop.
right? And
What would do this?
And so it will literally say we have 700 absorbency of red,
Right.
right? So
Right.
it kind of is a little bit. You're like, wait, what is absorbing? I don't understand, but that's literally it, right? So like Bob said, we throw out 1,000 reds and 300 come back. We have a 700 absorbency,
Right.
and
And you can have it across all the different spectrums, like all these different wavelengths. Because you got to remember that red is a specific number. This number is completely wrong, but there is a wavelength associated with red. Let's say it's 500.
right.
Well,
And there's-
499 is red. 498 is red.
Yeah.
497 is red. So each one of these things is throwing 1,000 of each wave, and X comes back.
and
So
the best way to describe that with colors is like you go to Home Depot and you look at the palettes of paints and there's like 60 different greens. Well, all those different greens would be all different wavelengths.
right. And so when you plot it out from, again, I'm making up BS numbers here, 0 to 1,000 wavelength, right? You can actually see how much this is how the graph works. You start seeing these spikes on the graph, and some really talented people can take a look at that graph and go, "Oh, well, you have chemical ABC." You're like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
Just from the absorbency of the color.
Yeah, and when those absorbencies come back, it's not necessarily like a specific molecule, although it is, right? When they break down the spectrum of an FTIR, they're actually looking to see what the different functional groups within that molecule are. So like you will see, oh, there's a carbon-carbon bond right here. Oh, look, it has aromatic signatures, little wiggles up at the top. Like, all right, that's an aromatic signature. We clearly have a double bond. So each one of the different functional groups appear on that chart, and they kind of turn around and go, okay, well, we know how much this weighs. We know that there's CH bonds. We know there's an OH. Oh, there's an OH. It's an alcohol. So they kind of it functions along those lines.
Now that's FTIR.
Yes,
Now let's talk about the other ugly twin sister.
I think they're beautiful after a few drinks. That's just me personally.
So FTIR shoots out the rainbow
Yes,
and sees what comes back. And now Raman works slightly differently. It actually looks for shadows, if I could call it that. It's the easiest way to say it, right?
Yeah. It looks for. No, it kind. I guess if
I'm
you
trying
want
to think
think
of an easy layman way to say it.
it basically looks for changes in a color, right? So it's looking where FTIR is kind of looking for the shadows. Raman is kind of being like, all right, I shot it with one specific frequency. So let's say the color is red. We'll use the same color as before.
Okay.
I shoot red at this chemical, and holy shit, blue, yellow, and orange came back at me. What the hell is going on? That's this weird little interaction where most of the red reflects off or is absorbed, right? And then
I said that completely wrong.
Completely
You're right.
opposite, yeah.
Absolutely. I said that completely wrong. And that's why Raman has that specific wavelength, like 466 and 1085. And what is the other one? 785?
764, I think.
760.
1064, 7. I don't know. There's a 7, there's an 8, and there's 1,000.
Yeah, something.
Something
Ish.
like that. You know where you could find better information on that is we've got a whole classes on both of these on the university. Oh,
My word.
that was a shameless plug. But the Raman is going to look at the colors that come back.
You're right. I completely said that wrong. So disregard what I said about the shadows. That was incorrect. But
Yeah, that was
those
FTI.
things are sending out one specific wavelength. And then what comes back also tells you something.
Yes.
So, and one of them is confused by water. The other one doesn't see water,
right.
which is good, and it's bad. One of them is, whatever.
Yeah,
This
well,
is-
because water is going to come up on an FTIR as a curve, and ramen basically doesn't even recognize that the water's really there.
It doesn't even see it.
Right.
So
So they both have the. When would you? All right. So if a person doesn't know the difference between them, when would you go for an FTIR versus a ramen? Or is there even a time where you would go for some different ones?
I would if I'm pulling one out, I'm pulling both out, and that's the majority of why they made. Not plugging a brand, but Thermo had two different meters, the FTX and the RMX, and they put it together in one package. You're like, oh my God, this is great. I got two things in one package. Well, now I got to run them one after another where I could run them parallel.
Right.
At the same time. I can't think of a time where I would ever want to know where one was versus the other. Let me strike that for a second. If I have...
No, I'm interested now because I can't think of a time that I would use one over the other. I would kind of be like, I'm going to see what both of them say.
Yeah. All right. So I would absolutely run it on both. But again, that whole quantity thing is going to be, I might run it on the ramen, but I'm like, dude, I just don't have enough. So I doubt it's going to work, but I'm going to run it anyway. You know, with the ramen, if I have a sample and let's say I have, and again, ramen doesn't see anything that's less than 10% quantity.
Right.
Right. So if I have 90% salt and 10% fentanyl, well, let's say 8%, it won't see the fentanyl. It'll see salt. That's a bad example because it doesn't see salt.
It doesn't see salt.
All right, sugar. Let's say sugar. Lactose. That was a bad example. You know, but if I do that same thing, you know, what happens if that laser beam is hitting the wrong granule of what I don't want? You know, there's so many.
There's nuances.
There is a lot of nuances, but I can't think of a reason why I would use one over the other.
Yeah, I think I would definitely compare the two. So if you're training on the FTIR or the ramen, or you're learning it, one of the things that I highly recommend doing is once you've got a handle on both of the meters, put them together. So go into whatever training room you have, whatever apparatus floor you're on, and grab a bunch of samples. We both encourage you guys to have samples. Take samples from different runs that you guys were on, treat them with care. But the samples that are out in the field are going to be the real samples versus the one, you know, that the salesperson brings.
The ringers.
Right, the ringers. That, hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. And try them on both just to see how both respond and react and what they look like. And sometimes they see this and sometimes it sees this. It's really, you're going to get a much better feeling for the operation of both the meters if you do them simultaneously.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Go ahead.
Go
with it.
No, go ahead. You do the next one.
All right. What's the difference between IMS, which is Ion Mobility Spectrum?
Spectroscopy. Yeah.
Spectroscopy.
One of those words.
And mass spec or mass spectroscopy. What's the difference between the two?
All right. Well, one is a really good tool, and the other one should pretty much be used only as a door chock.
Up, the phone's ringing. Phone's ringing. We already have a complaint.
Oh, damn it.
We already have a complaint. I know who it is. I already know who it is.
Who is it? Who would be calling us to fight this?
Oh, you know. You know who it is.
Oh, I do. I do.
All right. So, IMS is... I always think about this. I don't know why I think about it like this. But there's a tube. The sample comes in, and it sees how fast it goes through the tube to the other end.
After it's been ionized.
After it's been ionized. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets ionized, and it goes down the tube, and it times it. It's like a stopwatch. I always think of like a runner on the track doing a 100-meter dash.
Me too.
That's exactly what I think of. And I'm like, okay, he did it in this fast. Well, he's probably 185 pounds. Let's look through the library at what's 185 pounds.
Right.
And that's how it figures it out.
Right. So, like, let's imagine you're a high school student and all through high school, or a runner now, and you always run the same time, no matter what.
Yep.
Like, I will always run 1 mile in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. It's just,
okay.
I'm just that good.
A machine.
I'm unbelievable. So now I don't need to see the runner, right? And Bob runs his mile in, say, 5 minutes. So I just need to look at the times and go, oh, all right, so here, something came across that was 5 minutes. Well, that runner is Bob.
Right.
Well, the only problem with that is that if there are 15 runners and they all have a 5-minute time span, and one of those other runners crosses the finish line at the 5-minute mark, I'm going to go, that's Bob, and I'm
Right.
going to be totally wrong.
Right. So this is another one, and we've probably never talked about this on this show. There is a technology called thermal conductivity that has the same pitfall. What you'll see is gas companies use a technology called thermal conductivity, which just basically means you take the sample in and it sees how quickly the sample heats and then cools. And so it says, oh, well, natural gas, let's say, has a coefficient 0.7. Well, you know what else has a coefficient of 0.7? Carbon dioxide. Now it's telling you, holy crap, man, you got 100% of the LEL in this room, or do you? Because now you have carbon dioxide and it looks the same. So the IMS gets very confused because there is no library to see what the runner is. The runner is.
Right.
You know, so
it is. All right, so I don't want to totally bash this technology because there is a place for it, and the place for the IMS technology is if you have an already known sample and you're looking to see if it's clean. Because if I know I have I guess we should say that too. IMS is really specific to like chemical warfare agents, nerve agents,
Yes.
mustard agents, things along those lines.
And just to clarify that, IMS is also in the parts per billion range. We are talking super sensitive. But that liquid, that weapons of mass destruction, that's what they deal in. Their vapor pressure is like 0.00039. So they need to be super sensitive to pick up, but it is a vapor detection device.
Right. And so if I have something that's been contaminated with nerve agent and I want to see if it's been totally cleaned off, I absolutely would reach for an IMS meter because it is going to do a very good job at very low levels. I just have to be super, super careful that one of the things that this is going to trigger, a cross sensitivity, isn't anywhere near this meter. And the cross sensitivities of this meter, you fart near this thing and it goes off.
Oh, in the next room,
right?
It goes off.
It's
an incredibly sensitive. Like we said, it's parts per billion, if not lower.
Yeah.
Like seriously, it's that sensitive.
So mass spec is kind of similar, but not really. Basically what mass spec is going to do is it's going to take in a sample and it's going to punch it in the face.
Yeah.
And when it punches it in the face, that molecule breaks into pieces. And the same molecule is always going to break up the exact same way, right? So if I'm going to go and I'm going to, punch, I don't know, benzene in the face, it's always going to snap off into the same shatters.
Right.
And then those shatters are kind of shot down a tube or into a polarized chamber, and it's basically going to say, ooh, we have a piece that weighs 54 atomic units, and we have a piece that weighs 130 atomic units, and we have a piece that weighs 10 atomic units. Again, making those numbers up. And by that...
Look through that library.
Right, looking at the library, okay, when I punch, what can I get that breaks off like this when I punch it in the face? Oh, look at that. Benzene breaks apart like that when I punch it in the face. This molecule must be benzene.
Yeah, and it gives you so the punch in the face, and this is like the beautiful nuance I think is so actually smart about mass spec is that they actually take. So if we know about the pressure temperature relationship, right, with vapor pressures. And so if I raise the temperature, my vapor pressure goes up. If I increase my pressure, my vapor pressure goes down. What they do is they take this sample, this solid, which we all know, a solid at room temperature has almost no vapor pressure. And they'll put it in a little chamber and they pull a retarded amount of vacuum on it, right? I mean, like insane amounts of vacuum. And when you put an insane amount of vacuum, you make it either liquefy and boil or just vapor, just come apart.
Right.
And a lot of that goes into that punch in the face that Mike's talking about that sets up those pins for knocking down. That's how they really do it. So that incredible, when you say, it's a high pressure system. Like, for example, the MX908, they say high pressure. It's actually a high vacuum.
It's a low vacuum.
It's not very, I'm sorry, a very low vacuum.
Right.
It's not a high vacuum.
They're saying high. So like it's like
high pressure.
Think of temperature, right? Because this confused me at first. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? So, and it was described to me this way. Imagine you have to, other meters run at minus 200 degrees, and this meter runs at minus 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a high temperature meter. Doesn't mean that there's actually, like, compared to what I'm used to, a high temperature. It's compared to the other meters. So when you have a high pressure mass spec, you have a mass spec that is pulling less of a vacuum, or therefore it needs less energy, and you can save the battery, and you can do other things at at higher pressures.
I think it's also a lot of marketing. I think it's like, oh, wait, I got a high pressure? Well, I have a super high. I have the ultra pressure. I have the, I think they're just going to keep one-upping themselves.
But then somebody's going to turn around and invent like an atmospheric one.
Infinity.
It's going to be a no pressure. Hey man, this
Infinity plus one.
This is so easy. It's a no pressure mass spec. There's no pressure.
It's relaxed.
It's relaxed, man. It's a no pressure high spec.
That would work.
That would work.
I'd buy that. I'd buy that. Oh man.
Oh, well, we're 25 minutes in. Do we want to go with the next two, or should we save them for the next episode?
I would say let's do the next one.
Okay.
Because it all in the same thing, and then we'll come back for our
meter question.
hot wash thing. Yeah, the meter. Actually, this metering question could take a little while though.
It could. All right. So, what is the difference between a catalytic bead for LEL sensing and an IR for sensing? And first of all, I want to say we covered this pretty extensively in prior episodes.
Yeah.
So you really should go back and listen to those episodes.
While you can.
While you can. Because at some point, you may not be able to. So the CAD bead and the IR. Bob, what is the big difference between them?
Okay. So the CAD bead works by, there's a little bead. And should I go through the whole thing real quick?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, all right. Some people call it a Wheatstone bridge. It's also called a catalytic bead. So you might hear one or the other. It's the same thing. And what happens is you have two beads. One is in like a plexiglass vault that is not exposed to anything, and the other one is out in the atmosphere. And what happens is when we draw the sample across the exposed one, the combustible atmosphere interacts with the coating on the bead, causing it to heat up by oxidation, which causes heat, which changes resistance, and then it looks between the open one and the closed one and goes, there's a difference of 2. Put 2 up on the board. That's as simple as I can make that.
That is pretty in-depth. That's pretty well covered for its simplicity.
Okay.
All right.
So now that's that one.
That's that one. So the IR. The IR is a totally different animal altogether. And basically what it's doing is it's pulling in a sample. And so let's say for this specific, for IR sensors that are for LEL, because you can have an IR sensor for CO2, you can have an IR sensor for CO.
PID? There's a million of them.
Yeah, IR can be very specific because every molecule has a different infrared spectrum that it will absorb. So
and we're specifically speaking about NDIR at this point, right?
Yes, non-dispersive infrared.
Right.
But that spectrum, every single molecule has got some sort of infrared signature to it. Okay. And so what they do is if you want that specific, like an LEL, well, when you are doing LEL, you're normally dealing with organic material. So they say, all right, well, if it's going to be flammable, it's most likely, and that's a key word here, most likely going to have a carbon-hydrogen bond. So let's put in a light bulb that shines the light that gets absorbed by carbon-hydrogen bonds. So we have that light bulb. It's shining down a tube. We suck in the sample, and if that sample has a carbon-hydrogen bond on it, between the light bulb and the sensor, that carbon-hydrogen bond is going to absorb some of that infrared light.
Mm-hmm.
And when it does that, less of the light or more shadow, as Bob was saying before, gets to the sensor. The more shadow or the less light reaches the sensor, the more carbon-hydrogen bonds you have within the tube. The more carbon-hydrogen bonds you have within the tube, the higher your explosive level. So there's almost this correlation between shadow and explosive level.
Okay. So we've talked about this extensively before. You have the NDIR and the cat bead. And I would say arguably cat bead is by far the more popular.
Oh, yeah.
It is cheap. It is easy to calibrate. It works very well. It's pretty stable, but it's not the end-all, be-all. If you complement your cat bead with an NDIR module, you are living the life of a king.
Yes. And
they're not expensive.
no, they're not, and they allow you to do a couple things that the CAD bead won't. Right? For example, my CAD bead won't go above my LEL. So once I hit 100%, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Once I switch to an IR, I can go all the way up to 100% of the atmosphere.
Yes.
And I'm good to go, which is kind of where it's nice. Now, the thing is if you have these 2 meters together, depending on the chemical, you may get 2 completely different readings, and that's normal and that's okay. And if you want to know more about that, you need to go back to prior episodes in which we go extensively into the NDIR technology and what we mean by different sensitivities for different molecules.
I'll throw in one more thing about this thing is that one of the bigger differences, it's not glaring, but it's a very important thing, is that we all know that you need about 16% of oxygen for the cat bead to work. Remember, it's an oxidation reaction. So if you don't have enough oxidation, well, then there's no heating of that cat bead. You can have 11 billion flammable molecules running over that thing, but if there's not enough oxygen to make it heat up, to make that oxygen, the oxidizing reaction happen, it won't read it. IR doesn't need any. So if I was to go into, and not to get too deep into this thing, but if I was to go into a location where it had a prior oxygen deficiency and a flammable range, let's say because of an exclusion, like propane, right? So if I have a pool of gas propane, I have a deficient oxygen because it's an asphyxiant, and I have a flammable range. And you know what I love? I shouldn't really go down this rabbit hole.
Scotch.
I love that when people they go, wait a second, it could be corrosive and flammable. I'm
No.
like, yes. It could be. Wait a second. It could be toxic and corrosive. I'm like, yes. Things can be multiple things at once. More than one thing can be true at once. You can have an asphyxiant, low oxygen, and flammable all in one spot.
Yes.
Propane.
Perfect example.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys, and take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
And we are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you were a part of, so send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
Remember, guys, don't just get on the job, get into the job.
Wow.